He insists the locals don't mind their unusual neighbors and that regularly pop in for coffee. But the local fire department is under instruction not to enter his house in an emergency. Look at the size of that snake.
That's ridiculous.
That's our time for now. Thanks for watching News 3 at 5, right after these break.
Hi.
Right now at 5, we're learning more about the immigrants detained by ICE this weekend. We'll tell you how many people were arrested.
A former Madison alderman says he went to college with the gunman accused of opening fire last week. What he says about the shooter.
And a small Green Lake County town's public water system will be shut off soon. How residents are reacting.
This is News 3 at 5.
We're learning more about the man police say shot 3 co-workers last week in Middleton.
43-year-old Anthony Tong has been described by neighbors as quiet, and now a former Madison alder is sharing his memories of Tong. Our Madeline O'Neill is here to explain. Maddie?
Former Alder Chris Schmidt was in the same graduating class as Tong in 1997. They were both physics majors who went to Lawrence University in Appleton. Schmidt says he was surprised he recognized the name of the alleged shooter. He's still sorting through his memories, but says Tong, who according to police shot 3 of his co-workers at his workplace WTS Paradigm Wednesday morning, shared many classes with him over their 4 years there. Now, because it's a small college, while they weren't close friends, they were acquaintances.
He fit into the norm for Lawrence University. He was quiet. He would socialize with people. He was not asocial, but he was a quiet guy.
A search warrant shows police confiscated hundreds of rounds of ammunition from Tong's home, along with gun parts and other items. Coming up at 6, we'll take a look at whether or not those confiscated items are considered at all unusual and how Tong, who couldn't legally own a firearm, might have gotten them.
All right, Madeline O'Neill, we'll see you at 6 o'clock. Thank you. We're learning more tonight about the arrest made by ICE over the weekend.
Local immigration officials confirm at least 34 people were detained by ICE in Wisconsin, including at least 11 people in the Madison area. Our Amanda Quintana has more on these arrests. Amanda?
Yes, well, these arrests were essentially a surprise to people here in Madison, officials and law enforcement. Now, their message to ICE is ask us first. Here at Central Hispano, their message, this is an ICE-free zone. And there are dozens gathered here to show their support here today for those who essentially lost a family member.
Growing up here, he speaks English, he works really hard, you know, and for him to just, I don't know, for him to just get arrested, it was really, really hard.
Jenny Vila says on Friday morning, carpooling to work, her fiance was pulled over, he thought, by police.
They basically handcuffed them, took them out one by one, asked them for IDs, and then said that all of them had no permission to be here in the U.S., so they were going to get detained, and that's when they said that they were ICE.
Along with his father, uncle, and 2 other passengers, Sergio Eduardo Victor Segura was arrested. Although ICE has said these were targeted arrests, she says there were no warrants for anyone in the car.
It's really hard on his mother as well. her husband and son got detained on the same day.
This fear and confusion fills the room at Centro Hispano. Many in attendance related to the 11 people detained by ICE in Madison over the weekend.
It may seem a small number, but these are the breadwinners from the families. They are the ones that are leaving behind kids, moms, wives, and the community.
Officials are frustrated, saying the federal agency did not follow protocol by not telling them they were coming.
We do not need you making your determination that someone who may have some traffic violations, someone who simply may be undocumented, or have some minor other offenses is someone who is of danger to our community.
In turn, they say this surprise visit has created more fear and danger in our community.
To enter our community armed with weapons, ballistic vests, raiding our community without notifying local law enforcement puts our community at risk.
Officials also expressed their issue with ICE identifying themselves as police officers to people. Mayor Soglin says that's essentially a lie and they are tricking people. He says he's going to bring this issue up at the U.S. Conference of Mayors. He's going to talk to other cities about this and hopefully get a meeting with ICE later on.
Amanda Quintana reporting this afternoon. Amanda, thank you.
A passenger involved in a crash in Rock County early Sunday morning has died. Rock County deputies say it happened around 4 o'clock just off County Highway S and County Highway BT. Deputies say 35-year-old Corey Reed of Freeport, Illinois, was intoxicated and driving an SUV when he failed to stop at an intersection, which caused the vehicle to go into a ditch and roll over several times into a cornfield. Reed, along with a front seat passenger, were wearing their seatbelts. The 27-year-old backseat passenger was not wearing his seatbelt and died from the injuries caused by that crash. Reed is facing charges including homicide by intoxicated use of a motor vehicle.
Let's get a look at your first alert weather. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti is in the Weather Center. Gary?
Charlotte, we had a nice day today with plenty of sunshine and temperatures on the mild side in the lower to middle 70s. But you can see on visible cloud track some clouds now starting to move in from southeastern Wisconsin and to our north and west. A cold front has showers through much of Minnesota, or at least the northwestern half, and that front will be with us tomorrow. Now, right now it's just rain showers back to our north and west across Minnesota. But as some of that moisture to our southeast catches up with that front, we'll see thunderstorms develop around this time tomorrow afternoon. The Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk of severe thunderstorms for tomorrow from Madison southward and a marginal risk across the rest of our viewing area. High winds and hail would be the main threats. So look at low temperatures this morning here in Madison. We dropped to 51 degrees. High temperatures today so far. Low to mid 70s, 75 so far in Madison. A little cooler near Lake Michigan, breeze there off the lake, keeping temperatures in the 60s. Current temperatures are still in the 70s away from Lake Michigan. Our eastern viewers seeing temperatures in the 60s, and we're starting to see dew point temperatures climb up into the lower 60s. So by tomorrow morning, we'll look for temperatures to drop to around 60 degrees or a little bit above. We'll see skies turn mostly cloudy tomorrow with showers and thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon, and some of those could be strong to severe, the high at 72. That's your first alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. Nearly 400 Wisconsin Army National Guard soldiers will deploy to Afghanistan this winter for the NATO-led Resolute Support Mission. Soldiers from Waupun, Ripon, Green Bay, Fond du Lac, Marinette, Appleton, and Clintonville will all deploy as part of the mission. Officials say they'll deploy as a security element for coalition forces operating in the region who are working on containing and destroying terrorist safe havens in Afghanistan and reducing the threat they pose. The 2nd Battalion, 127th Infantry, has deployed numerous times since the September 11th attacks in 2001, including multiple tours in Iraq.
People who live in a small Green Lake County community are feeling frustrated tonight because the town's public water system will soon be shut off.
About 50 households had to dig wells or risk having their houses condemned, that is. Rose Schmidt spent the day in Dalton and explains the next steps for this community. Rose.
Quite a story for these families. This situation has been going on for 3 years, and now next Monday, the water will be turned off for good. Well companies were out digging in Dalton today, trying to get wells up and running by then. The Dalton Sanitary District estimated that over the next decade, repairs to the water system would have cost more than $1.5 million. to meet state requirements, more than doubling the cost of water bills. Most property owners voted instead to abandon the public water system and install private wells. People who live there were notified about this toward the end of June after years of town meetings and discussion. But it's still a cost Dolores Fearhammer and other residents tell me they cannot afford.
There's a lot of older people in this town, and we don't have a lot of money. And it's not cheap and that stuff, so it's just a really rough time in life to go through. And I just wasn't planning on this. It's very stressful.
Anyone who doesn't have a private well by Monday will be reported to the Green Lake County Health Department, and their houses would be condemned because under state law, houses have to have running water. Dalton Sanitary District estimates the cost of drilling a private well to be about $15 grand. But the president told me that cost of the wells will likely be paid off for people who drill them because the water bills won't increase drastically like they would if they had to repair the water system. The president declined my request for an on-camera interview.
That is quite a story.
$1,000.
Yeah, for the lady I talked to, Dolores, she said it was about 10 grand, but still quite a cost.
Shutting off the water to the whole town, that's something.
Story we'll be following. Thank you.
Poor folks up there. All right, thank you, Rose.
Nearly 400 people in Wisconsin died from the flu during the 2017-2018 flu season. The Wisconsin Department of Health Services said 7,520 people in Wisconsin were hospitalized due to flu-related complications, and 379 people died, which is twice as many as the year before, including 3 children. DHS encouraged residents to get a flu shot to protect their families, communities, and themselves. Only 36% of state residents got the flu shot last year.
Health officials in Rock County are taking time today to talk about things like addiction, trauma, and depression. It's part of the 3rd annual Southern Wisconsin Conference on Mental Health. It's put on by the Health Net of Rock County, which is a free clinic providing services to low-income, uninsured Rock County residents. Officials say Rock County has one of the top 10 overdose rates in the state. One of the topics being discussed is the role substance abuse plays in mental health.
Our community is doing a tremendous amount of work to combat the crisis right now. We still have a little ways to go, and we hope to better serve our patients in order to do that.
The Rock County Human Services Department says in 2016, more than 200 people received screenings for substance abuse. Of those, 46% were for heroin and opiates, and 38% were for alcohol abuse.
Fans of a beloved Madison Southeast Asian restaurant waited in line today for the restaurant's reopening after an accident 4 months ago. Halong Bay closed last May after an SUV drove into the building, causing significant damage. The restaurant's doors opened to a full house as regulars returned to their favorite restaurant. Many fans said that the restaurant was sorely missed during its closure.
There's no food like it. It's really hearty, and I don't know how to explain it. Like it's a place that's been in Madison so long, and that maybe the atmosphere is nice too, but there's just something about the food that's magical.
The restaurant posted to its website saying that they have missed their customers too and are happy to be back.
So we're going for dinner?
Let's do it.
One of your favorite spots.
My absolute favorite.
Well, there's more to come on News 3 at 5. Up next, another woman has come forward accusing Judge Brett Kavanaugh of sexual misconduct, what the president is saying about his Supreme Court nominee.
And another member of the Trump administration could be losing their job. We'll tell you who.
But first, on Wall Street, on mixed day, the Dow Industrials down 181 points. The NASDAQ managed a 6-point gain. However, the S&P 500 was down 10. We'll be right back.
The president is sticking by his Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh, even as another woman has come forward with accusations of sexual misconduct.
Over the weekend, the New Yorker published a story from a new accuser, Deborah Ramirez, a former classmate of Kavanaugh's at Yale. In it, Ramirez accused Kavanaugh of exposing himself to her at a party. Her claims added the allegations from Christine Blasey Ford, who says Kavanaugh tried to assault her when they were teenagers.
There's a chance that this could be one of the single most unfair, unjust things to happen to a candidate for anything. But I am with Judge Kavanaugh.
Michael Avenatti, the lawyer for Stormy Daniels, says he also has a client who will come forward this week with new claims against Kavanaugh. Hashtag why I didn't report went viral over the weekend as sexual assault survivors shared stories of why they didn't take their sexual assault cases to officials in support of Christine Blasey Ford. The hashtag gained traction after President Trump tweeted Friday saying that if the attack was, quote, as bad as she says, charges would have been immediately filed. According to the Rape Crisis Center of Dane County, only 1 in 10 survivors officially report sexual assaults for a number of reasons, including a culture of victim blaming.
Everybody keeps on saying, nope, it's alleged, we don't know if that's true. But at the same time, society and literally defense attorneys are judging this victim, saying that you are a liar. And so they're trying to defend their innocence as well.
The Rape Crisis Center also said that victim blaming and also may have an impact on Ford's decision to testify before the Senate.
The White House says President Donald Trump and his embattled Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein spoke today and will meet Thursday at the White House amid uncertainty about Rosenstein's fate. Rosenstein, who oversees Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russia election meddling, had been expecting to be fired today after critical comments he made about Trump. Former acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe says that if Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein leaves his post, it puts the special counsel's Russia investigation at risk.
President Trump is predicting a second summit with North Korea's Kim Jong-un is on the horizon. He made the comments heading into the United Nations General Assembly, where tomorrow he'll address the body. This afternoon, the president met with his South Korean counterpart to discuss a new trade deal and progress with North Korea. Trump says a meeting with Kim will happen soon.
And Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joins us from the backyard patio with a look at our workweek forecast. Hi, Gary.
Hi, we got about another 24 hours of mild weather, and after that, our temperatures turn much more fall-like. Let's start out by taking a look at an alert day that I have in the forecast for tomorrow. That's for the possibility for some severe weather about this time. A line of thunderstorms moving on through, gusty winds and hail being the main threats. I think the fast movement of the thunderstorms will keep the threat for heavy rainfall at a minimum. But as we look at visible cloud track, there's moisture coming in from the south. You can see clouds across Illinois starting to move into southern Wisconsin. And to our north and west, there's a bank of clouds associated with a cold front. Now, the two haven't come together yet. When that moisture catches up with the cold front about right over us tomorrow afternoon, that's when we'll start to see more thunderstorm activity. So to the north and west, where temperatures are cooler, not even seeing any thunderstorms there. But the Storm Prediction Center does have a slight risk of severe thunderstorms from Madison southward for tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. A marginal risk to our north and west. I think the highest severe weather threat probably be over eastern Illinois, maybe into the Chicago area, parts of Indiana, and into southern Michigan. That's where there could even be the threat for a couple of isolated tornadoes. After those thunderstorms move on through, the fall weather moves in. Average high temperature goes from 68 to 66 over the next 7 days, and we'll only see a couple of days near that. 72 tomorrow, and then only lower 60s for Wednesday and Thursday. Friday might not get out of the 50s, be around 60 on Saturday, and then back into the low 60s on Sunday. And then Monday, look for temperatures in the mid-60s with some thunderstorm chances. 8 to 14-day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center for the first week of October. Still calling for below normal temperatures. The highest probability of that happening centered over North Dakota, much of the southeastern part of the country expecting above normal temperatures. The highest probabilities for above normal precipitation here. That doesn't mean we're going to see a lot of precipitation, but we will see a fairly active weather pattern bringing us a threat for showers about every day or every other day with generally light precipitation, but averaging slightly above normal. Live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville, still seeing some sunshine there, whereas the WISC Skycam starting to show the clouds moving into the Madison area, and the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison also showing mostly cloudy skies. As we check out the almanac for today, our high temperature topped out at a very pleasant 75 degrees. Low temperature this morning, 51, so both were above normal. Right now we're at 74. Winds are out of the east-southeast at 10 miles per hour. The dew point temperature at 57. That'll climb up into the 60s for tomorrow. Temperatures right now on the other side of that cold front only in the 50s over northwestern Minnesota, whereas we're in the 70s with some 60s near Lake Michigan. But notice the dew point temperatures to our south. They're starting to increase, so there is moisture that'll be heading northward toward that cold front as it advances in from the west. So look for skies to become mostly cloudy for tonight. Slight chance for a late night shower with a low temperature of 61. For tomorrow, look for mostly cloudy skies. We'll see showers and thunderstorms mainly in the afternoon. High winds and hail possible in some of those storms. High temperature at 72. On future track, you can see the clouds moving in overnight. Just a slight chance for a shower. Low temperatures in the lower 60s. Tomorrow, watch as that line of showers and thunderstorms moves in from the west. And that's 2:30 in the afternoon. You can see it sweeping on through pretty quickly, so that by early on Wednesday morning, skies will be clearing and temperatures will be dropping back into the middle 40s. And high temperatures on Wednesday will struggle to get up to around 60 degrees with partly sunny skies. Rainfall amounts generally will be around a ½ inch of rain. There could be some localized heavier amounts in excess of an inch and a couple of isolated thunderstorms. Otherwise, the 7 to 10 day forecast keeps those chilly temperatures not only through the weekend, but through much of next week as well. High temperatures upper 50s to the middle 60s. Nighttime low temperatures generally in the 40s. You'll see periodic chances for some rain. As we take a look at first alert traffic, not a bad Monday out there. That's the live view from the traffic DOT camera at the Beltline in Gammon Road. You can see traffic moving pretty steadily in both directions. As far as the Beltline itself, not seeing any major delays, both east or westbound. So when we look at travel times right now, it's only 15 minutes in either direction between University Avenue and the interstate. And as we head out of Madison, about 28 minutes down to Janesville on I-3990 from the Beltline, 19 minutes to Sauk City on US 12, and 20 minutes to Sun Prairie on East Washington Avenue and US 151. That's your first alert traffic.
All right, Gary, thank you.
Ahead at 5, research shows most parents don't install car seats correctly. We'll have some tips on how to keep your child safe. That's next at 5.
News 3.
It is Child Passenger Safety Week, and safety advocates are reminding parents to make sure their car seats are properly installed.
John Schumo reports.
I think the harness does have to come up. Do you know how to do that?
No. Danielle Brandt brought her car seat to this New Jersey inspection station and found out she made some mistakes.
I learned that it's great for the car seat to be in the center of the car versus on one of the outboard positions, which is where we had it before.
Studies show that most parents incorrectly install car seats.
Keep it from moving around the vehicle.
Christine Marcantonio is the Traffic Safety Program Coordinator for the Union County Police Department.
8 out of 10 people get it wrong.
8 out of 10 people coming through here, we will find something wrong with the installation.
She says a common mistake parents make is moving kids from rear-facing seats to front-facing seats too early. The American Academy of Pediatrics now recommends leaving small children rear-facing until they hit the manufacturer's maximum height and weight.
A rear-facing seat actually moves with the child, so it protects the vulnerable parts of the body, the head, neck, and spine.
And on front-facing seats, she says many parents forget to use the back tether. This video shows the tethered seat on the bottom prevents the child from slamming into the front seat. September 29th is National Seat Check Saturday. At events nationwide, parents can have car seats inspected.
We do recommend that if you can find a place to help you inspect your seat and make sure it's properly installed, that you do.
Because a child in a car seat that's installed correctly faces a much lower risk of being injured in a crash. John Schumo, CBS News, Garwood, New Jersey.
Good advice. We'll have one final check of the weather when we come back.
Look.
Gary's here with a final check.
It's pretty nice out there now. The clouds are starting to move in, but these temperatures, I don't think anybody's going to complain. 74 in Madison, a little cooler closer to Lake Michigan, but for the end of September, those are looking nice. Dew point temperatures are starting to creep up into the lower 60s, and as a cold front comes in from the west tomorrow, there could be the potential for some thunderstorms, and the Storm Prediction Center does have us under a slight risk of severe weather from Madison southward and a marginal risk elsewhere. So we do have an alert day in the forecast for tomorrow. Highs lower 70s before the storms arrive. After the storms move through and the cold front passes, temperatures mainly in the 60s. Friday, we might not get out of the 50s. Some periodic chances for showers as well.
Fall is here. All right, Gary, thank you. We'll all be back here at 6 o'clock. CBS Evening News is next.